Hi, I'm Russell Ware with J. Caldwell Custom Pools. I'm here with the owner, John Caldwell himself, on his back patio, and we're going to go through your 4-in-1 test kit that is included with your new pool construction and show you how to do it.
Hey Russell, thank you for the introduction, and I want to walk you through how to use your test kit for your 4-in-1 test kit on your new pool that we provided you with the startup package. So basically this is the test kit that you were provided. I've removed a little bit of the contents out of it because you need to know kind of what's what. And what I like to do is kind of get some basic principles of water testing. This will not be the only test that needs to happen on your pool. This is a homeowner grade test kit. The water needs to be tested one time a week. I would tell you that one time a month a water sample needs to be taken to the local pool center and have an in-depth test done on other things that this test kit does not do. I would also tell you that on hand at your home you need to keep a few basic chemicals to the pool. You need to keep cal hypo, which is commonly referred to as shock. That's a powder chlorine or a granular chlorine that's thrown into the pool that shocks the pool. You also need to have 3-inch chlorine tablets, and then I would always keep at least a couple of gallons of muriatic acid. Those are the basic things that will keep the pool blue and clear, and then as you go to the pool store monthly with a fresh sample of water, they're going to give you a more in-depth picture on calcium hardness and stabilizer and chemicals that don't move around weekly but do need to be adjusted periodically. Generally speaking, maybe quarterly or every 6 months you might have to add some stabilizer or some calcium or something in the realm of those. So the very first thing that you want to do when testing your pool is you have to know how many gallons is my swimming pool. That is found on your proposal, it's found on your contract, it's found on your pool plan. So what I like to do is take the pamphlet out and mark it here, okay, so that you know how many gallons of water you're working with, all right? So that's number one. Number two is I like to know the common terms to know, just basic, easy information to understand, and that way it's referring to, hard water or referring to chlorine residual or something like that. You kind of have a general idea of what that means. You've got these all printed out here, so if you need that, you can always refer back. Okay? So second thing is you're going to adjust your pH and your total alkalinity almost weekly. Okay, in the wintertime, maybe a little less than that, but I would just chalk it up to understanding you're going to make some adjustments to your alkalinity, your pH, and your chlorine level weekly. We here in Texas use muriatic acid. We do not use alkalinity increaser or pH increaser, any of those things. So I put a mark across this, the same as you can, and that way you understand you're going to be using this graph here to go off of. So that's that. So that's that. This is a little table here for adjusting the acid in the pH, so that your acid demand table, okay, and that'll give us some idea of how much acid we're going to know we need to add acid because our pH is high, but we've got to know how much to add. So all that being said, this is the instruction 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's all the 4-in-1 test kit does is those 4 tests. And we'll step out poolside here shortly, and I'll run through a test, and Russell can ask some questions if he comes up with as we're doing this. Thank you.
Hello, I'm John Caldwell, and as we talked about on the porch, Russell and I are going to run you guys through the 4-in-1 test kit. So a couple of notes, like we said on the back porch, you're going to want to have some muriatic acid. You're going to want to have some granular or shock chlorine, and you're going to want to have some tablets. I don't have any of that here because my pool's on service, and we have a guy that comes by here on Mondays and puts the chemicals in, and you can do the same. But if you choose to not do that, this 4-in-1 test kit, it will work fantastic for you. It's super simple. So I'm going to start walking you through everything you're going to need to know about the water test kit and what to do as it comes up. So first of all, you want to get everything out, have it all here, have your chemicals out here with you. Don't open anything. You don't want to spill anything as you're moving around here, but go from there. Today is May 30th. The water temperature in the pool is probably in the mid 80s. It's actually probably in the mid 80s outside. It's a bright sunny day here in Texas. We've turned the pool off just to keep things quiet while we do the video. However, I would recommend when you go to add your chemicals that you turn the pool on and circulate it for a minimum of 2 to 3 hours with the pool cleaner running. I even have gone as far as brushing the pool down after I put the chemicals in. I also would not let your children swim for that same 2 to 3 hours after you put the pool chemicals into the pool, especially like shock and those kind of things. So first of all, we're going to get here, we're going to fill the water up. You're going to reach down into the pool about a foot, 18 inches, and get you a water test. Then you're going to try to shake the water off here to the right amounts, just like that, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to go get the laminated card. You're going to do your chlorine test first, okay? And I've done this a couple times through the year, so I kind of know what it says. So I'm going to do test 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 drops of the reagent that reacts to chlorine in the water. And then I'm going to cover that up. Okay? The second test is chlorine neutralizer. Put 2 drops in there to neutralize the chlorine out of the water here where we can get a good accurate pH test. We're going to go 1 drop, 2 drops, 3, 4, and 5. This is going to give us our pH side, okay? So Russell scooted up a little closer here to where hopefully you guys can see, but you will have this test kit in your hand. So right here, this is a faint yellow. We intentionally held off pool service today. Today is Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, so they would have come today. But I held them off because I wanted to actually get a feel, or I wanted you guys to get a feel for what it might look like week to week. So right now, as you can see, we are low in chlorine, okay? The pool needs chlorine. It's hot outside. We've been swimming, blah, blah, blah. You've got to keep your chlorine level up in this 1.0, 1.5 to 3.0 range in order to keep the pool blue and clear. When the pool dips down is when you're susceptible to getting a green pool, or you start to build algae and that kind of thing. So I don't have any of that. So we do have a faint yellow mark here, or a faint yellow color of water. So we do have chlorine present, just not enough to last a whole nother week. On the pH side, we're high. A high pH does many, many things, but the first thing it does is the water's acidic, so it will burn your eyes when you open them underwater. So you add muriatic acid to bring the pH down into what we would consider an ideal range, which would be 7.2 to 7.6. So you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, well, first of all, do I add anything now? No, we don't want to add anything until we do all 4 tests. So the third test is to tell us how much muriatic acid do we add to the pool. And remember, like in the first video, we had marked how many gallons of water we have. My pool's 20,000 gallons, okay? So we know that. We keep that in the back of your mind all the time when you're testing your water. So I'm going to go to test number 3 here, which is we call it the acid demand test, okay? So we get this guy out, solution number 3, and what we're going to do is we're going to drop this 1 drop at a time, okay, and then the color is going to change, and I hope you can see this from the video, but you will see it in your backyard. So right now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that 1 drop, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 more drop, okay, and I'm going to know pretty much that those 2 drops got me right at the bottom of the range of ideal. 7.2 to 7.6 is what we would call perfect, okay? So you've added 2 drops. We know we need chlorine. I'm bouncing back and forth here, but I want you to understand we're not doing anything just yet, okay? So we know we need 2 drops brought us into range. We get the little laminated card here that says lowering pH with muriatic acid, okay? Plain and simple. We go down here to the 20,000 gallon mark, and we took 2 drops. We go over to the drops here, and it's 1 quart of muriatic acid. Man, that's easy. So we all know 4 quarts are in a gallon. We buy muriatic acid by the gallon. So we're going to take and we're going to add 25% or 1 quart of acid. Now, I'm going to tell you, all these pretty finishes that are around our pools today, you do not want to get muriatic acid on your deck or on your coping or anywhere for that matter, on your skin. So it is better to reach over into the pool and dump 1 quart of acid in and check your bottle and just add accordingly. If you add a little too much, it's not going to hurt. A little less is not going to hurt either. So it's a whole lot less painful to get a little less or a little more in the pool and not any on the pool deck or the coping. Okay? So we keep in mind we need 1 quart of acid to bring the pH in line, but oh, guess what? The alkalinity is also adjusted with muriatic acid. The funny thing about our water here in Texas, and I'm on well water, you might be on city or well. The funny, interesting thing is we do not see a low pH and a low alkalinity in our swimming pools. It just doesn't happen. The pH and alkalinity constantly wants to come up with our water type, and we're constantly moving it back down by adding acid. Muriatic acid adjusts both. So what we need to do now is we need to check the alkalinity, because it may also need acid to adjust it. So we just dump that guy out. I always just kind of rinse this guy, get another test here, except this time you're going to go to this lower line that says alkalinity. It's very hard to see probably from the camera perspective, but it says it on there, okay? And what you're going to do is we're going to neutralize any chlorine out of there. That way we get an accurate test. Okay, so that's this guy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to swirl that up just a tiny bit, and we add 1 drop. Okay. Now, we go back to solution number 3. It's acid demand and total alkalinity. So right now, you can see we've got this real pretty blue color water. What we're going to do is each one of these drops is going to represent 10, okay? 10, 20, 30, 40. I'll just shake it up a little bit. See, it did nothing. 50, 60, 70, 80. Uh-oh, it's starting to change. 90, 100. Okay, all right, you guys see that it's changed colors, okay? So we put 10 drops in, that represents 100, right? So what we do is we go over here to our little pamphlet that we marked, and we had crossed this guy off last time, and we're using this, lowering total alkalinity with muriatic acid. Up here at the top, we use calcium hypochlorite. That's shock chlorine. We're not using gas chlorine. I do not recommend gas chlorine for you. We want our range to be between 80 and 100. Well, guess what? We're setting at 100. So my pool is in range. It's perfect. It doesn't really need anything at all. But the interesting piece of this puzzle is this. We do remember our pH was a little high. We do remember we need 1 quart. We also are now correlating that. We're at the top of the range. So by the end of the week, it might be a little over 100. So adding the 1 quart of muriatic acid is also going to bring the alkalinity down, okay? It's going to bring the pH down and the alkalinity. Now, you say to me, what if your alkalinity was at 130 right now? What would you do? Well, I'd go to the 20,000 gallon pool here. I would go over here to 30 parts per million, because that's what I would need to bring it down. It's saying, how much do you need to come down to get in this range? Well, hypothetically, it says I would need, where are we at here? 20,000 gallons. We'd need 30 parts per million to come down. We would need 1 full gallon of acid. Well, you ask, do you add the 1 quart to the 1 gallon? No. Just put the greater of the two. If you added the 1 gallon of acid to bring the alkalinity down, which I don't need in my pool, you would absolutely cover the pH, being that it was only the 1 quart. Does that make sense, Russell?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So now I've got all this mess here, sitting here, and I'm gonna just kind of put things back together for a second. Let's see here. Chlorine, that goes there. This goes there, there. Okay, so at the end of the day, right now, we need chlorine in the pool, and we need 1 quart of muriatic acid. We're done here, okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you what I would do, okay? Muriatic acid, as I said earlier, comes in gallons, okay? I would start the pool back up. So go to your app or go to your equipment, turn your filter system back on, turn your floor cleaning system back on, or your in-floor or your Polaris cleaner or whatever kind of cleaner you have in the pool. Get things circulating and moving around. What you want to do is you would want to add your muriatic acid not over the top of one of your sun benches, not over the top of one of your love seats, not in your hot tub. Come over, reach over into the pool with it circulating and add 1 quart of acid. We know 4 quarts is in a gallon. Simple math. Put that in the pool. Let the pool circulate around, and then you can do your chlorine, okay? I would go to the opposite end of the chlorine, the opposite end of the pool to do my chlorine. I don't like to dump chemicals on top of each other. It's not going to explode or cause a problem. It's just safe. So you can put powder chlorine into the swimming pool by casting it out. If it's windy outside, I like to reach down real close in the cup. 1 pound of chlorine treats 10,000 gallons of pool, or 10,000 gallons of water, excuse me. So 20,000 gallons, 2 pounds of chlorine. Chlorine shock is going to send your chlorine level up quickly, okay? It's like going to the doctor and getting an injection or shot. You're going to get to feeling better quickly. Your chlorine tablets that'll be in your tablet feeder that are over at your pool equipment, those maintain. So they're almost like taking medicine for an antibiotic for a week. So the doctor gives you a shot, says, hey, I'm going to give you these antibiotics for a solid week, and you'll feel better. Same thing for a swimming pool. You're going to shock the pool. That's going to instantly raise the chlorine level. Like within 20 minutes, the chlorine level is going to be sky high. Your chlorine feeder then is going to be full of tablets, and that's going to feed a little bit of chlorine into the pool as the days go by. It's sort of time release, if you will. So that will maintain your chlorine level throughout the week. So you're here, here, and then as the sun shines and all your children swim, the chlorine level is going to go back down, and then it's going to come back up. Well, okay, so that makes sense. That's what keeps the pool blue and clear. What does the pH and the alkalinity do? Well, if the pH and the alkalinity are too high, it retards the chlorine, so it can't do its job. So that's why you have to keep your pH and alkalinity down in range. That way your chlorine can do its job. There's many other things that pH and alkalinity do, but that's the general basics. So, like I said in the video that we did on the back porch, you need to absolutely get a water bottle, okay? And you need to take water down to the pool store, once a month. In the winter, maybe once every 2 months. But they can check for calcium hardness. They can check for metals in the water. They can check for your cyanuric and stabilizer levels. Those are things that don't move around like your chlorine and pH do. So you don't have to panic if you run to the pool store and they tell you, oh, your stabilizer is super low. That's fine. I just need to add some stabilizer to the pool. They'll give you instruction to do that. All of these things can be handled by our service side weekly. They come in, the guys will do full cleaning. They'll do skimmers, filters, everything for you. They'll keep all the chemicals on hand in their truck. They won't store anything at your house. That's what obviously I recommend, but I have lots of people that love to take care of their pool themselves, and this is the starting point of it. Going to the pool store is the second half of that. So hope my video did well for you and it makes you understand everything. Remember, we have a J. Caldwell Pools app that also comes to me. to my email. So if you have a question, I'm happy to call you. I'm happy to FaceTime with you and walk you through chemistry, again, over the phone or FaceTime, whatever makes you happy. Thank you.